everybody, welcome back to the channel. So today we're going to be starting a reading vlog. There's going to be quite a few of these this month, so just hang on tight. But this reading vlog is going to be me reading holiday romances. Now, I've said this in many videos before that I'm not really like a holiday romance person. I am more of a Halloween spooky season person than I am Christmas. I just think it's far too commercialized anymore. And as someone who works in retail, like by the time, like I've been staring at Christmas stuff since September, and by the time Christmas actually comes, I am beyond over it. So I really don't generally read like Christmas themed romances. I will read like winter ones. I decided for this year I'm going to read some Christmas romances. I don't know if I'm going to get through all of them. We'll see which ones I end up getting through. But I have all different platforms I have things on. So Audible had a really huge sale recently, and I did get the 3 Will and Nash Christmas novellas. I think it's I don't remember what the brothers, it's the 3 brothers. There's The Naughty, the Nice, and the Nanny, which is a nanny romance. Obviously, we have 3 Belles, 2 Beaux, and 1 Brother's Best Friend. And then we have A Partridge and a Pregnancy, which I'm assuming is gonna be like a surprise pregnancy trope. So I do have those 3 that I'm going to listen to. They're fairly short. I think the longest one is like 4 hours. On Hoopla, this one I don't know if I'm gonna read in this vlog. We'll see. But I generally do better with audiobooks than I do reading ebooks in a timely fashion. So I do have Love Light Farms by B.K. Borison is on my Hoopla for an audiobook. So we'll see. Finally, Kindle. So these are the books that I physically have to read like on Kindle. So it's a novella by Victoria Wilder called December Nights. This one, it looks like, is a sports romance. He's a baseball player who wants to renovate and take over her home. This looks like an opposites attract sort of thing, or like maybe enemies to lovers. And then I have 2 like almost full lengths. I know one of them is definitely full length, and this one I'm definitely going to read. It's Big Nick Energy by Morgan Elizabeth. This is actually is it Ravished by Romance? It's one of the book club's picks for this month, so I do want to read this one. This is a single mom cowboy Christmas romance, part of the Seasons of Revenge series. And then the other one that maybe I'll get to, we'll see how long I end up wanting to, like I don't have a time frame for this vlog. It's kind of just like, we're going to see how long it takes me. I really am very disorganized when I do my booktube, if you guys haven't figured that out yet. But anyway, the other one I have on my radar is Wreck My Plans by Jillian Meadows, a small town holiday romance. It's a brother's best friend as well, which I love. I love brother's best friend, or like ex's dad, or I love all those ones. Best friend's brother, the more like forbidden-ish ones. Okay, so this is a sweet and spicy age gap brother's best friend. And it features a quiet architect who only wears black, a sassy artist who's full of color, a small town of holiday fun, and enough swoon and steam to keep you toasty this winter. So those are going to be the 4, 5, 7 books. Did I miscount? I don't know. Whatever. There's way too many more books than I'll probably end up reading. Hello. Hi. We are driving home from work. I do have 2 books to talk about. I finished 2 of the Christmas novellas that I listened to on Audible audiobook. And they are the first 2 of the Devney Perry Holiday Brothers novellas. It's a trilogy, so I just have to read the 3rd one. So I read The Naughty, the Nice, and the Nanny. I think it's the green one. And that one was, I gave it 4.5 stars, and I think it was because, it took place around Christmas, obviously. So I feel like all 3 of these, so far, like the first 2 have taken place around the same Christmas. So it's like, you're just seeing what each brother's doing for this same Christmas, because they all end up at like the same Christmas party, but you're getting it from like their POV, like what's going on with them during this, their parents have this big Christmas party every year. So you get to see what's going on with each of the brothers. So it's the same day, essentially, the same like week, whatever time period leading up to this Christmas celebration. But the first book is Maddox is the brother. He owns a streaming service, which I think is really interesting. I haven't read a book with a hero that's read like a streaming service. Like a lot of them own like real estate or tech companies or whatever. They're big billionaires that way. But this guy has a streaming service, which I think is really interesting. It's kind of, I feel like kind of like Netflixy, because they have like their own like production company and they do their own shows and stuff. She's the nanny. So he's gone through, his child is like a devil child. Her mother, his wife, is like absentee, not a great mother, really wants nothing to do with their daughter, so he has custody of her, and he hires, I forget how she ends up getting the job, but she ends up getting the job to nanny for like a week. The week that they're in Bozeman, she's gonna nanny for him and this little girl. I think her name's Violet. And she is a holy terror. He's gone through like so many nannies, because it turns out, like, we find out that like they pretty much have been they're like younger nannies, so it's like they're hitting on her dad, and she doesn't like it because she's like, he loves my mom. Like, she is very upset by this, which is understandable. And Natalie is the heroine in this, understands that, and she's like, again, not like other nannies, and she figures out what's wrong and why. But she's known Maddox because him and his brothers they all grew up in like the same town, and she had a crush on him in high school. He doesn't even remember her, and she's like totally offended by this because his brothers remember her, but like he doesn't. So she gets it. Like, she has a crush on Maddox, but like she's not just in it to get in his pants. Like, she's there to do a job, and she understands Violet, and like they have a budding friendship, and of course the Maddox and Natalie have a romance, and it was really cute. I liked it. It was I think the reason I liked it so much is because it was light on the Christmas. So yeah, I gave it 4. I think I gave it 4.5. I think I'm gonna rate this 4 stars. On Bookmore you can do half stars, which I really, really like. So yeah, that was that one. I think that one I read yesterday, right? Yeah, yesterday. And then today I read the one that I can't remember the title of. It's like I don't remember. It's 3, 2, 1, and I can't remember what the 3, 2, 1 things are. It's the red cover. It's the second brother. It's the brother, I can't think of what his damn name is right now. I know Stella is the heroine. I literally just read this and I can't remember which brother this is. This one is Friends to Lovers. No, it's Brother's Best Friend. That's what it is. It's Brother's Best Friend, which I guess technically would be Friend to Lovers. That's a little bit more of a forbidden aspect to it. So this brother, God, I can't remember his name, and it really is bothering the crap out of me. He runs, so the family is a very like wealthy, successful family. Each of the brothers has their own thing, and this brother is into, I guess, again, this is like more like real estate, like home, like building of homes. I guess he's a builder, and she ends up getting a job at the company, doing like project management, I guess essentially is what she does. And so they're thrown together that way. And this one I gave 4 stars. I enjoyed it. So they've had a history together. She's also lived in town her entire life. And they've always kind of had a thing for each other, but it's forbidden because it's his best friend's little sister, and he doesn't want to go there, and because he knows his friend will be really pissed off, and she also knows her brother will probably freak out. So like they don't go there until it's just, of course, undeniable chemistry, and things happen, and then things are said where she's like, I've always loved you or liked you and had a crush on you, and he's like, what do you mean? He's like, I had the same thing. So then they kind of just give into their feelings. But of course there is that the brother finds out and things happen with that. So again, it took place around the same time period, but there was very little. I think there was less Christmas in this one than there was in the first one, but I think that's what really like made me enjoy it, because it was very Christmas light. And yeah, that's it so far. I read those 2. I'm still reading December Midnights by Victoria Wilder. So today is Friday. Tomorrow I don't work this weekend, so I'm probably not going to end up listening to any more audiobooks probably until Monday, which will give me time. I'm not going to be home tomorrow. I'm going into the city tomorrow to New York with some friends, so I don't think I'm going to get any reading done some tomorrow, but I'm probably gonna try to read some tonight. We're gonna do some decorating tonight. So I meant to do this on the way home. I'm like halfway home and completely forgot that I wanted to give you guys an update about my reading. So I finished today the third Holiday Brothers novella, which was A Partridge in a Pregnancy. And y'all know I love my surprise baby, secret baby romances. So I gave this one 4 stars. I really liked it. The only thing that docked it points was because, again, the heroine was a little bit, she irritated me a little bit because she, so basically the premise is they used to date in high school, college, I think it was college, and then he like proposes to her, she says no, and they go their separate ways, and then they had a one night stand now, and she ends up getting pregnant, but she's taking a job overseas in London. This takes place in Montana, I believe is the setting, and she gets that job in London, and she's leaving, and he is like upset. He's like, what do you mean? You're like gonna just have the baby and live in London, and like I get to never see them? Like how is this gonna work? So pretty much the whole novella is them figuring out how they're gonna work as a family and how that dynamic is gonna work. And a lot of the time the heroine's like, I don't know. He'll ask him, so what do you expect like this to be like? Are we gonna fly back and forth? Do you want to stay here? Do you want to go to London? Do you want this, that? And her answers are like, I don't know, we'll figure it out. And it was just really annoying. I understand, because honestly, personally, if I was in that situation, I'd probably be the exact same way. But I just know that would be so irritating and unhelpful. And the whole premise of it is like she's like upset with him because he never asks her to stay. When she said, so he proposes, she says no, and then is hurt because he doesn't ask her to stay anyway. And this is the same thing with the pregnancy. He wants her to stay. He doesn't want her to leave, obviously. He wants to be a father to the baby. But she's going to London, and she's like, no, like this is where my job is. And she gets upset then because he doesn't ask her to stay. And I'm just like, girl, are you serious? Like, it's clear that he wants you to stay here because he wants to be a father to this child. And she's thinking it's for the baby, not for her. And I'm just like, I can't. She was just being ridiculous. But I still really enjoyed it. It was very light on the Christmas. There was like Christmas at the beginning and Christmas at the end of the book. But I think I guess I'm doing this vlog to read Christmas novellas and Christmas romances. So like for that aspect, I would probably drop it more because it's not actually like Christmassy. However, I think I liked it better because of that aspect. But yeah, I love this trilogy. Was really good. I'm about halfway through December Midnights, and I'm liking it. It took me a little bit to get into it because, again, I was reading on my e-reader, so I was like getting distracted by things because it's not a Kindle, it's an Amazon Fire tablet, so there's internet to it, and I get like email notifications and all kinds of stuff on it, so it was really distracting. It's an inn. It's called the Timekeeper Inn that I think is attached to a lighthouse, and the owner I guess was falling on like rough times, so she has investors. So our hero, and I already can't remember names, our hero is one of the investors, essentially the owner of the inn. Him and his brother, I think it's his brother, and they are buying up or investing in like a lot of other properties in the area. And there's this like whole like soulmates element to it. Like every year, one of the residents is like, it's their year to like find their soulmate. And this year is supposed to be our heroine's year, according to like the lady who owns, again, can't remember names. The woman who owns the inn is like the one, she's like has a little bit of like a magician magic little, I don't know, it's not like actual magic, but it seems like magical because it's like a magical time of year. But like she knows whose year it is to find their true love, to find their soulmate. So, and they have a lot of people in the town that like come to her for like dating advice and love, like help with love and that kind of stuff. But she knows it's our heroine's time. And so the heroine's thinking that our hero is her soulmate, and everyone's like, well, they don't know who it's gonna be. But it's fun so far. It's really like small town, very I would say uneventful. It's slow, I should say. It's very slow, cozy, wintry sort of read. I did finish, I think I told you I finished Partridge in a Pregnancy. I also finished December Midnights by Victoria Wilder. I think I'm going to give this one 3.5, 4 stars. I don't know what it was about this one, but it was a little bit slow going for me. I don't know if it was because I was reading it was an ebook I was reading on Kindle, or what it was about it. It was really cute. I loved the setting of it. It was very Christmassy and very winter-esque, which is, I think, what I mentioned in a previous clip. I did forget to mention that our hero was actually a retired baseball player. So he had an injury that benched him, and him and his brother ended up starting like buying properties in this like small town. And one of them was the Timekeeper Inn, which had a lighthouse attached, which the lighthouse is the apartment that our heroine lives in, if that makes sense. But I actually really liked like the magical sort of vibes. Like we had there's like a whole thing with like surrounding winter solstice. And there's like a little sprinkle of magic in it, and it's not like the main part of it, but it's kind of like one of those like that kind of Christmas time feel, if that makes any sense. I don't know how to like, this is the one novella in this video where I kind of feel like it's all over the place because of how chopped up I would read it. I would read like a chapter here and there before I went to bed. Normally I would fall asleep reading it. And then it was like the last 30% I sat down and just read straight through. But I did enjoy it. I am curious though, because there were hints at other like romances. So I'm wondering if like she's going to do other novellas for the other couples. This was my first Victoria Wilder, and I really want to read her Riggs. It's Riggs Mountain Riggs, her Riggs series, which is Peaks of Color. Yeah, Peaks of Color and Hide and Peak are the 2 books that I got over Black Friday weekend. But I also want to talk about Love Light Farms by B.K. Boris. I think this is the first time I'm actually holding this book up because I have been listening to it on audio, and I'm about 78-ish% into it. I don't have my bookmark in the right spot in my physical copy, but I love this book. Okay, I said in other videos that friends to lovers is kind of like one of my not favorite tropes because I find it really boring. I think this book might be the exception to that, because this is a best friends fake dating and they turn into lovers, because basically she buys what she discovers is a failing Christmas tree farm, and in order to raise money to keep the farm, she enters this like TikTok social media contest thing, and kind of lies about it and says that she runs the farm with her boyfriend, but she doesn't actually have a boyfriend. So when she gets notified that the person running the contest is going to come to the farm, she convinces her best friend Luca to be her like fake boyfriend, and he is just like all for it. He's like, yes, absolutely, I will do that for you, no problem. We do only get it from her POV. We don't get his POV, which would have been a really nice touch if we would have gotten it from his POV. But I love them. There are some really fun banter scenes and some like really humorous like witty things that happen. Then you get to meet Beckett, who I know is a lot of people's favorite hero. I think he has the second book in this, In the Weeds, I think is the second book. I'm not sure. So you get to get hints at the next couples coming up, and I'm loving this so much. I love the townspeople. It's so good. This is the Hallmark movie that I would actually enjoy. I actually really think, because Netflix, I think, so Hallmark is too like wishy-washy Hallmarky. It's like its own like genre. But Netflix actually does really decent like Christmas movies. I really think this would make a really good like Netflix movie, to be completely honest. Like I would watch the hell out of this. It would be so fun. So I have about, I think I said I'm like 78% through this. I listened to a lot of it today while I was wrapping presents and baking cookies. So I'm hoping that I'll be able to finish this tomorrow. And then I can pick Big Nick Energy. This one isn't that long. It's like less than 300 pages. But there is no audiobook for this yet. Because it just came out. I don't know if it's going to get one. But right now there is no audiobook. So I'm going to have to read this one physically. So I'm hoping that I can finish this tomorrow. And then find the time to sit down and actually read this. And then finally close out this vlog. I have no idea how long it is. I have not been like monitoring the clips I've been doing, but I can tell you it's probably going to be ridiculous. But yeah, so that's going to be my update. I will talk to you guys when I have some more to talk about, probably when I finish this. Sorry, I just got out of the shower and I'm like just noticing my hair is like, whatever. It doesn't matter. This is an update. So I finished, and I don't know where I put it. That's par for the course. I don't know where it is. I had the physical copy of Love Light Farms somewhere. It might be in my bedroom still. I don't know. I thought I brought it in here. Anyway, I finished Love Light Farms today. Technically, I finished it last night, but I fell asleep listening to it, so I had to re-listen to like the last couple chapters. Yeah, so that was actually the first time I've ever done that before. I don't usually listen to my audiobooks in bed. I'm giving it 5 stars. I really liked it. I think it's definitely worth the hype. It meets expectations. And I'm someone, I mentioned this, I think I already mentioned this. I'm a person that I repeat myself because I don't remember what I said. But the Friends to Lover trope isn't my favorite, but I really, really did like it in this book. I don't know what about it. I couldn't tell you what it was about it that I liked. But I just, for some reason, it worked for me in this. And I definitely think that this would make a really, really good, like, actual, like, movie, like a Christmas movie. I don't know if it would come off as, like, cheesy. Like, I feel like Hallmark comes off, if it's a Hallmark movie. Like, a lot of Christmas movies, they're like, cheesy Christmas movies. But I feel like I would enjoy this one. There's a lot of them that I like, that I do enjoy every year when I watch them. Anytime Netflix comes out with a new Christmas movie, I do try to watch it. Every year. But yeah, so I'm giving it 5 stars. It was cute. I can't wait to read Beckett's book. I do have it on my shelf. And it also is on Hoopla, and I think book 3 is on Hoopla as well. So I'm going to listen to those at some point, probably in the new year. I say that I'm going to listen to it. I can't wait to read the story, and then it'll be about months from now, and I'll be like, oh, by the way, like, I'm finally getting to it. That's typically what happens because I have a lot of other things I want to read as well. But yeah, so next one I have to read, and the last book for this vlog is going to be Big Nick Energy by Morgan Elizabeth. This is also the Ravished by Romance pick for the month. But yeah, definitely pick up Love Light Farms. I know it's an older book now, 2021 I think it came out, but I really, really enjoyed it. I can't wait for to read the rest of the books in the series. And I'll talk to you guys when I've either started or finished Big Nick Energy. Okay, we're giving you another update in the dark because that's how I do. But I wanted to update you guys about Big Nick Energy because I did start it. I'm about 40% into it, and I am loving it. Do I love it more than Love Light Farms? At the moment, I'm going to say yes. It is reverse. It is Grumpy Sunshine, where the heroine is the grump and the hero is the sunshine, and I love it. And it has similar aspects. Like, he owns a Christmas tree farm. He has animals. There's horses, all kinds of animals. And he had a child very young. I think he's like 42, and his son is like 24 or something. Or I don't know. He had a kid when he was 18. And he raised him as a single dad because he just like had a hook up with this girl in college. And she ended up pregnant, and if he didn't want the child, like, want to take care of his son, then he was going to go up for adoption. So Nick stepped up, took care of him as a single father, raised him, and now he doesn't really date. He just kind of works at the farm, and that's pretty much what he does. So he finds out his son, Connor, meets a single mom on a dating app. A single mom with 2 kids, and he's like, really? Like, that doesn't seem like your type. And he's like, well, let me try it out, whatever. Turns out the son and Shay, our heroine, they aren't compatible, like, dating relationship-wise, but they do become really good friends, and Connor becomes really good friends with her 2 daughters. And she's going through she just recently got divorced. It's her first holiday as a single mom. Her husband was like an abusive, narcissistic asshole, and he's getting remarried and wants to stop having to pay her child support and wants to see his kids, because if he gets to see his kids, then he doesn't have to pay as much. He's such a dick. Like, I can't stand him. So Connor, feeling bad, he invites her and the girls to his father's farm for Thanksgiving dinner. The funniest scene, now I have the physical copy. I've been kind of following along in the physical book, but I've been reading this on my Kindle, which is like, it's gonna freaking snow, because if I have an option between reading on a Kindle or reading on the physical book, I usually will pick the physical book, but I've been reading it at work because it's been a little bit slow the last couple days. And I like on the Kindle that you're able to highlight things. So I'm highlighting stuff that saves onto your Goodreads. And I've highlighted so many lines that are just so funny, because this has Elf on the Shelf in it, and I freaking hate that thing. But I just think the elf is creepy. I'm just gonna say it. And Shay also thinks the elf is creepy and doesn't want to be bothered with it. And she assumes that her girls know nothing about it. They go to like this prestigious private school, and she doesn't do the elf. She's never mentioned the elf, doesn't bother with it. And Nick, in just trying to like have conversation, and asks if the girls are excited for the elf to come, and they're like, what elf? And in the background, Shay's just like, no, like, please shut up. And of course he doesn't realize what's happening, and gets this whole thing about the elf. She gets pissed off. He tries to like apologize and make up for it by doing the work for her, because she's like, well, now the girls want the elf. I can't disappoint them because they've gone through so much in the past year between the divorce and everything. So Nick ends up buying the elf, dropping it off at the house, and then each night he like brings gifts and he'll move the elf around. And she is just like, I fucking hate you. Like, she's so angry about it. And he's like, but I'm like solving the problem. I'm doing it for you so you don't have to. And she's like, I don't need your help. I don't want your help. Like, I'm fine on my own. And he is like, okay, but it's okay to ask for help. Like, you don't have to do it alone. He's like, I want to help you. And so he takes this one thing off of her shoulders, and it's just, there's so many good like monologue-y moments where she describes what it's like being a single mother with two young girls. And yes, he understands to an extent, but he was a single father, which there is also a line in here that says like, you were praised for stepping up and raising your son by yourself. She goes, as a mother, I'm expected to do this, and people tell me that my TV keeps going in and out with the lights. But she's like, but as a single mother, I have people that constantly tell me that my children need a father, and like, I'm expected to do these things and held to a higher standard than you are as a man. And I'm just like it's so good. The talk they have, they get to the root of things. There's no like, at least right now, there's no like miscommunication going on, because Nick's like, what is wrong? Like, talk to me. And gets her to breaks through her walls and gets her to open up and tell him her like problems. Like, he's like, I want to hear about your day. I want to hear the good. I want to hear the bad. I want to be someone to be your sounding board, because her daughters are going through stuff in school with bullies and stuff, and she has to bear all of that burden of hearing her daughter's problems, knowing that she can't really do anything about it. And just like, she has no one to vent to herself. So Nick is like, let me be that for you. I love it so much. It's so good. It's so cute. And it's just, I love Nick. He is a cinnamon roll hero. And it just, I like it. It's fluffy in a way, but like, not like, so like, if this was a Friends to Lovers, I would be like, I'm so bored. But because it's not, and she is like resistant to him, it is like Grump Sunshine, hate to love sort of situation. I love it. I love that like barrier and that wall that has to come down, and there has to be work involved to like make it happen. And it's so good. I love it. But like I said, I'm only 40% in. It is like almost 6 o'clock right now, and I had so many plans for this afternoon. It is only Thursday. It is after Christmas. I wanted to have this vlog done before Christmas. That didn't happen. I also, because I started editing it, and I was like, oh, let me do an update. I forgot that I was also going to read Wreck My Plans by Jillian Meadows. I completely forgot about that. I don't think I'm going to have time to read it for this vlog. I think Big Nick Energy is going to be the last one for this vlog. And then if I read, I may redirect my plans just for something else to read because I'm curious about it. I heard really good things about it. But yeah, so that's going to be this update. And then the next update, I'm going to finish Big Nick Energy, close out this vlog, finish editing it. It's probably going to be close to the 40-minute mark, if not more than that. I'm trying to cut out all the fluff. It's about 26 minutes right now. So hopefully we'll get it to a decent length, but y'all know how I am. So, all right, I will talk to you guys when I finish Big Nick Energy. Okay, let's talk about Big Nick Energy. I am trying to edit this vlog so I can have it go out tomorrow and realized I never actually closed it out. It's been a few days since I actually finished this. But I ended up giving this 4 stars. So it did not edge out Love Light Farms as my favorite book of December, which I do have a favorite book of each month video coming out probably actually the day after this one. So tomorrow, possibly. I'm doing like a video like every day this week because I need to catch up because I filmed so many videos that some of them make more sense going out early in the month because I don't want to film wrap-ups and stuff and then have them go out like the end of January. So that just doesn't make sense. So pretty much every day this week, you're probably going to end up getting a video of all my wrap-ups for the previous year and what have it. But anyway, in my favorite books of each month, I said it was possible that this might edge out Love Light Farms because at the time I filmed that video, I had not finished this yet. I have since finished it, but it does not edge out Love Light Farms. It was very close. It was very close to it. But as I was reading more of it, I started to get a little bit like tired of it, if that makes sense. It started to get too much of the same. And it was too... I loved the beginning of this. I loved. Even though Nick has shown her and told her many times that like, you're not being a burden. I'm doing this because I want to, because I want to be with you. I want to include your girls in our relationship, in my life. Like he's not worried about any of that. He's perfectly happy. Taking them all as a big family. And she's just constantly like reluctant and thinking that she's being a burden. He's doing too much. Like he's going to get tired of her or he's going to get tired. Like this is all just like a temporary thing for him. And it just kind of got old after a while, I will say. I mean, I can understand the mentality, especially given the relationship that she had just come out of, which was I think it was almost a 10-year long relationship with her husband, who was very controlling and abusive to her, and was also now seeing another woman. So I understand like where she's coming from, but it still was annoying. I was getting a little bit tired and over it. I still really, really loved it though. It was really, really cute. The beginning was much better though, I have to say. I really enjoyed the beginning a lot more. I was highlighting far more in the beginning than I was at the end. And it does say there's rope play in this, but you don't really get that. And it also says he's a cowboy. I would not consider him a cowboy, to be frank. He lives on a Christmas tree farm with horses and other animals. Sorry, my TV is flickering. If that's annoying, I'm sorry. But I would not call him a cowboy. In my opinion, cowboys live on ranches. They run cattle. Or they have a horse ranch, whatever. Like his felt more like a hobby farm, if I'm being honest. Animal-wise, it's a Christmas tree farm. It's not necessarily a working ranch. And I feel like cowboys, in my head, are either they either are in the rodeo cowboys, or they're ranch cowboys. Like that's in my head. That's how I envision a cowboy. He is not a. I will say Nick is not a cowboy. We'll put that out there. But I still love him. I still think he's adorable. He's an awesome guy. I will say that I'm not sure. The sex scenes were good. They were steamy. But I don't know. I mean, I guess I don't know. It didn't feel like, in my opinion, the way he like was, like his preferences, I should say, didn't seem to fit him. But I guess that would make, I mean, it's kind of like what do you call it? A contrast, because he's such a nice, like, golden retriever hero, but in the bedroom, he's a little bit darker. He likes a little bit of, kink, which is interesting. It felt kind of out of place to me at first until I really thought about it, and I was like, I guess that makes sense. Like, there's two sides to everybody, and then you're more vulnerable and you're more, like, open in the bedroom. Sure, okay. Like, I kind of thought it off like that, but I don't know if that was the author's intention or if that's just me trying to, like, explain it away. I don't know. But yeah, so I ended up giving it 4 stars. I still really liked it. I would probably read it again, to be honest. But yeah, Love Light Farms is still probably my favorite book that I read of this vlog, and my favorite book of December for sure. But that's going to be the end of this holiday vlog. Finally, I intended for this to go out at least by Christmas. It is now after New Year's. But I hope you guys enjoyed it anyway, watching me read some holiday romances that I don't often do. I had some fun with this, so I might do it again next year. But that's going to be it for me in this one, guys. Let me know down in the comments if you read any of these books and what you thought of them, or if you have any other Christmas recommendations for me to maybe try out next year, or what you'd like to see me do in a different vlog. I would love to take some opinions, ideas. But I'll see you in the next one. Bye!